Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I loaded in and we were right here. I don't recall us being here, but okay, whatever. I guess this is where we want to be, so let's just bring ourselves to a halt. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to start doing some installation. Now, ideally, I'd like... What is this movement? Hang on. Station, what are you doing? Are you turning? Can you not? Just go to kill rot. Okay. The station was indeed turning. So that's reasonably fine. I'd like to dock up here. Unfortunately for us, we don't have a correct docking port for that. We could put together an adapter, which would be mildly awkward. But I'm just going to, for now, retract these solar panels. I'm also going to retract these. The frame rate isn't great considering I just restarted the game, which is kind of wild. But okay, hopefully it'll improve over time. So we could definitely put together something like that with one of these guys. I'm sure we have a large docking port around somewhere too. I don't know where it would be, but I'm pretty sure we do have a large, yeah, right there, a large docking port. So it would be a ways to travel, no doubt about that. I think for now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to have Bill EVA, and we're going to work on this kind of in a little bit more of a free-floating fashion. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hop into Kerbal construction mode. We need to open up our service bay, and we need to grab a hinge. So we've got a bunch of hinges here. We need to grab one of these. It doesn't matter which one. A hinge, and I want to put that, I'm thinking right about here. And we just want these to be in their normal orientation. So we need a hinge on each side. This is going to be a kind of tedious process because it's going to take some time for each one of these to get attached because, you know, there's just a lot going on here right now. So that's fine. We're just going to do this. And then we'll need to head up and do the same thing on the other side of the other Gigantors. So I'm going to detach one of these Gigantors here. And I want to attach it, yeah, about right there. That is basically perfect positioning. Basically. These are powered, so they shouldn't require any... Ooh, hang on. That's an awkward angle. I did not notice that. Let's turn snapping on, and let's just get this angled. I mean, even that's a little awkward. Yeah, that is a little awkward. So we're going to need to turn snapping off, and I actually didn't want to necessarily grab that. We'll reattach this here. I want it to be in rotate mode, not in place mode. And I wanted to just get this rotation set up. Actually, this looks like this might have rotated it to a location where snapping would be a useful thing. Let's try it. So we would just bring this to be... not quite. Okay. Snapping off, and we'll just get this a little bit more accurate. It doesn't have to be perfect. That'll do. Okay. Then we can, in move mode, we can just move it in local space to go back a little bit and be approximately here-ish. Yes, these two do clip together, but that's okay. So there's that one finished. We have like 15 more to go. So we're going to grab this guy and we'll place it out over here. Yeah, the rotation is going to be awkward, I think, every time we do this. I don't think there's much we can do about that. We'll just have to correctly rotate it into position. So using the rotation tool, we'll just bring this guy down. And we'll put it about like... With this thing swaying, it's going to be a little awkward. But about like that. Okay, that should be good enough. I don't think we really need to change the positioning for every one of these. So that should be fine. This area is now complete. Now I'm going to hop over to the station here. We're going to furl all of these solar panels, if I can grab them. Come here, you. It really doesn't want to let us grab that solar panel for some reason. Oh, right, because we're in the ship. We're not in the station. That would do it. That would absolutely do it. Okay, we need to retract all of these, because all of these are going to need additional work. Why did we bring 16 of these? Don't we need 8? I think we only need 8. I guess we could have some spares. Or we could just say that the others are the iRosa components that ended up not working and requiring a rework and were jettisoned. That is an interesting option, actually. Yeah, that is. But we've kind of brought twice as many as we need. But sure, I guess that's fine. We, at this point, want to turn our RCS on, but not with Bill. We want to hop over to the Dragon capsule, and I want to orient us to be somewhere around here or so. And then we want to go in the quote-unquote up direction. Whatever direction that actually is. Yeah, like this way a bit. Okay. So up we go. We just want to park up over here where we can put in an additional set of solar panels. That'll be fine. Maybe we do actually want to move these back a little bit. Maybe. We'll see. These ones are about on the same plane as this, so it might be okay. That said, if these are intended to be the same component, then we might want to do something about that. So we're going to want to come to a halt here fairly soon. We just want to make sure that we get into grab range here. So once we get up to about here or so, I think, that'll be fine. Then we'll have to hop around to the other side. But yeah, we only need 8 of these. I don't know why I thought we needed 16. Apparently, I don't know. But we have bonus solar panels. Sure. Seems fine. So at this point, we are going to just park here. And we're going to hop back over to Bob, who is going to continue to work on some installation here. I do think I want to, in local space, move this guy back. And we are in local space. So I just want to position this in such a way that it is roughly equivalent here, because these are intended to be functionally the same component, right? So we'll just do something kind of like that. Okay, next up, we're going to need to grab another hinge here in place mode. That would help. So we're going to grab this guy, and I'm going to put that right about here. And we're going to grab another hinge here as soon as we can. And that goes on the other side. So we're going to grab this hinge. Cool. And that is going to go right about here. Now, this one is going to be significantly further this way. That's probably okay. I'm not too concerned about that one. So we're just going to grab our Gigantors and get those attached on. They're going to be at awkward rotations. That's okay for the time being. We'll just attach this guy here. And then we'll get our other Gigantor installed on the other side. Then we'll do our rotational changes. Okay, so now we'll grab another Gigantor. And we'll install that over on this side. Okay, something about like that. Now, of course, we're going to have to do our rotational changes. And then we're going to have to head over to the other side. This is going reasonably quickly, especially since I realize that we only need 8. Okay, something about like that is close enough. We can definitely move it back a smidge here. About right there or so. Cool. And now this guy can get rotated as well. Just positioning ourselves over here. Now, like I said, there's going to be a bit of a differential between these two parts. I'm okay with that. We'll just leave it about like that. So back in, we don't actually need to be in place mode. We can exit Kerbal construction mode at this time. And now we need to head over to the other side of the station. So I want to turn RCS on. This is Bill. Bill, you can hop back in. You're done for now. We can turn RCS on and we can head over in this direction. Cool. We're going to have to clear some station components up over this way. And then we're going to have to head up, right? So we can head this way at about approximately 1 meter per second or so. And now I'm going to head in the upwards direction, which is this way. And we're just going to persist in this directionality until we're clear of, like, the Canadarm here. And we're just heading on over to the other side. Cool. Now, we are going to implement actual IROSAs. I want to be clear about that. That is definitely a thing that is going to happen, but not on this flight. Okay, I'm killing that horizontal velocity, and we want to just head this way right now. So I'm bringing this down to about 1-ish meter per second. We're just curving our velocity over. Okay, it's starting to go back up now. So what I want to do is I want to rotate ourselves out over this direction and just point in target velocity up. Because I want to know what direction we're actually heading. Relative velocity up. I don't want to point at target. I want to point at the relative direction. Okay. So there we go. Once we're aligned there, we'll have a good eye on what direction we're actually moving. This is broadly okay, but I suspect that we're going to want to bring it over this direction slightly. Okay, so somewhere around here is probably good. Concern now is impacting here. We could get a little bit more verticality. Although everything's kind of rotated 90 degrees according to the nav ball. And we could rotate to fix that. We may in fact want to because our solar panel is parallel, or rather perpendicular with this. I would rather rotate it to be not that. So we'll do exactly that and move this guy on up over this way to be something more akin to this. Now the question is, are we just inverted? Nope. This feels right. Okay. Beautiful. So we're not inverted, and we just need to continue to head up over this direction, although we're doing pretty well on that front. We may want to start getting a little bit closer here. Hang on. What direction is what? Okay. We need to start getting a little bit closer out over this way, and that's fine. So we're just rotating our vector on over, and we're going to start braking fairly soon. We are quite close. So let's begin braking about now. We're at about 1 meter per second. 0.5. And I do want to get a little bit closer here still. But we're very, very close at this point to where we want to be. So let's just bring this down. If we need to get a little closer, we can always do that. So we'll just put this in kill rot for right now. Looks good. And Bill is going to EVA, and we're going to install our extra solar panels on this side. So first things first, we are going to see about grabbing ourselves some hinges. And we'll put a hinge about here. There we go. And we'll need another hinge on the other side. I'm not sure if we're in range to put the further down hinges, like the next rank of hinges on. We'll see what that ends up looking like, but for now, this'll do. So I want to assign this guy here. There we go. And I want to also put these in down here if we can reach it from here. That would be great if we could reach both from here. We'll see how that goes. So next up will be the next batch of hinges. So one would go here in theory. Oh yeah, we can reach that. Beautiful. We'll put that in there. And the other hinge. Perfect. So we have, even for the IROSA 1 and 2s, we have a little bit too much in terms of solar panels here, but it's fine. We can just say that that's like prototype R&D costs or something. That seems absolutely okay. So we're just going to get these 4 solar panels installed, and it doesn't really matter which ones we grab. All of these are going to be jettisoned, to be clear, all of the spares, so that'll be fine. I'm going to install this guy here, and we'll get the rotations and any other movements done after we get these installed with their base level installation, right? So we'll just move this guy out over here. Seems good. And we'll get those rotated in position a little bit later on. Okay, now we need the other side. So we'll just hop over this way and grab another solar panel, and that's going to go right about there. That seems absolutely okay. And the 4th solar panel as soon as we get that caught up. There we go. Okay. That was actually all of the solar panels down on that side. Remarkable. Cool. So we'll do something along the lines of that. Now we're going to need to get them rotated and moved into position, but this is going very smoothly so far. Very pleased about that. So using the rotation tool, I'm just going to orient our view about here. And we're just going to rotate this guy to be here-ish. Yep, approximately there. And this guy is going to get rotated to be approximately... I think it needs to be slightly offset here. This is very close. About there is, I think, the correct rotation, or very, very close to it. On this side, it's going to end up being... Wow, this one ended up being very close. But it's not quite where we want it to be. We want it to be more like there. And this one's pretty far off, obviously. We want this guy to move in more like... this or so? Yeah, that'll do. Okay, now we're going to do this in local coordinates. We're going to move these in somewhat. This guy is going to go about here. This guy is going to need to be moved in quite a lot, actually. And I can see that this hinge is apparently having some difficulties. Okay, let's exit. Actually, let's not exit Kerbal construction mode just yet. We'll get back to that. This guy is going to get moved in to be about here. And then this one will need to be moved in ever so slightly to be about there. Okay, so that'll be fine. Now I'm going to board here. We are completed with our Kerbal construction at this moment, in theory. I want to head up here and make sure that this hinge isn't flapping around. Okay. There we go. Now it should be correctly set. That seems good. We can close our service bay, and now I'm going to extend these solar panels down here, and we'll take a look at what it looks like with the additional solar panels. But essentially, the goal behind this is to just make it kind of look like we have larger solar panels than we do relative to the rest of our station, right? So these are just going to be in pairs. And then we'll put the iRosas in between them, is the idea. So it'll be something along the lines of that, and then up here, we can unfurl all of these solar panels as well. Let's see, we'll get this guy, if I can select it. Where are you? Come here, you. There we go. And this one. This one. This one. I actually don't think this one extended. There we go. Cool. In terms of... oh yeah, that actually looks way better. Once they get rotated into position, that looks way, way, way better. I like it. That is good. Very, very good. It does look broadly like they're paired together. Broadly. Of course, we've got some awkward situations over here with the sun directionality, but no, I think that that's a large improvement. So that seems great. I do want to get some distance from the station because we're going to need to be bringing these guys home. So let's just get ourselves moving away from the station at a relatively decent rate. And of course, these will continue to rotate themselves into their optimal positions. Let's position ourselves towards orbital retrograde, and we'll see what direction that is. Okay, so the remaining solar panels are considered iRosa test articles that eventually got jettisoned, and that seems absolutely fine. Cool. So obviously, in reality, the space station solar panels are Gigantors, right? That's what these are obviously supposed to be, the Gigantors. I just made these trusses a little too long. So we just doubled the size of the Gigantors, and that will give us the impression of having larger Gigantors, is the idea anyway. So we're in target mode right now. I want to go into orbital mode. Yeah, we can see that our burn direction is not particularly safe right now, so we're just going to warp away from the station. Now our burn direction is pretty safe, and we can definitely begin to burn retrograde. So we're going to do exactly that. We're starting to burn retrograde here, and let's fire up our retrograde thrusters. Or rather, our deorbiting thrusters that are actually supposed to be a launch escape system. Fantastic. Farewell, station. You are much better now, but your frame rate still sucks. Beautiful. Okay, so SRB shut down. There we go. Yeah, this looks a lot better. I mean, there's too many gaps now, but what are you gonna do, right? That's a significant improvement as far as, like, scale goes. To my eyes, anyway. So that seems absolutely great. We are going to continue to recover this flight. So we're going to bring these guys home very, very soon. Of course, the space station is still pretty close. And I don't want to physics warp this close to the station. We are about 600 meters away, and it's not going to unload for a while yet. So we'll just let that begin to unload. And the question is, do we want to bring this back this episode? I think we're probably fine to. Our re-entry trajectory is very, very quick, right? So it should be okay. We're now about 1 kilometer away from the station. It'll be unloading in about another 1.5 kilometers, but we are accelerating away from the station. It is a very slow process to deorbit this using the RCS, but it's a perfectly functional one. No doubt about that. I don't think this is intended to be how this is utilized, but whatever. I actually don't know what propulsion method the Dragon capsule uses for its deorbiting burns. I would have to look into that. Yeah, I don't actually know. It might actually use something akin to monoprop. I don't know. It's a possibility. So we're currently at about 1.8 kilometers away from the station. It will be unloading shortly. We're continuing to accelerate away from the station. We're down to about 270 kilometers for our periapsis. That, of course, needs to come down a lot more, but once we can physics warp, this will be a significant improvement. 2.1 kilometers. Very, very close to the station unloading here. We never actually docked up to it, and that's fine. We didn't have to. 2.3, 2.4, and we're going to be unloading shortly. 2.5. I believe we're unloading now. Station is gone, and we've got frame rate. Oh, it's so nice to have frame rate. So nice to have a frame rate. I like it. So we're continuing to decelerate our periapsis here. We'll bring that down to, of course, -60. It would be nice if we had a little bit more thrust on this and could do that a little faster, but honestly, that would mess with our current situation with our docking. I feel like our amount of thrust is really good for docking. It's less good for deorbiting. It just means that we have... It doesn't have to be good for deorbiting, right? We can take all the time in the world to deorbit if we wanted to. We don't want to, but we could do it. So that's absolutely fine. We're down to 150 kilometer periapsis. I wonder how this is going to look as far as our actual return trajectory goes. Are we going to be landing... Oh, this looks like a land landing. Almost certainly a land landing. Cool. That'll be fine. Of course, in reality, the Dragon capsule is designed for a water landing. The original spec for it did call for a land landing on the Super Draco thrusters, though, which, that would have been spicy. They ended up not going with that and going with traditional parachutes into a water landing, which is probably for the best, but Super Draco landing would definitely be spicy. Of course, it wouldn't really be workable in our model here without significant testing, because it's an SRB in our implementation here. So that wouldn't really be a workable thing for us to land on. Yeah, that definitely wouldn't. We would have to retool it to be a liquid-fueled rocket. Which I have no interest in doing right now. We're not actually going to be landing on Super Draco thrusters. That would be insane. We're not going to do that. We're going to be dropping our periapsis down below 0 here shortly, and we are very nearly on our correct re-entry trajectory. Excellent. We're still quite high up, of course. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep, that periapsis continuing to come down in a almost painfully slow fashion, but it's fine. It's a good exercise in patience. 40 kilometers. 50 kilometers. Like I said, almost painfully slow. But ultimately, I like it. I think this is a good system at this point. There's 60 kilometers, and at this juncture, I'm going to jettison our trunk section, complete with the iRoses that are in there, and we're going to go into surface velocity minus, and we're going to warp on forward until we hit the atmosphere. Beautiful. So there's the atmosphere there, and we can turn our RCS off once we arrive at surface velocity minus, and we're going to physics warp here. So we are currently over water, but I believe we're going to make it over the land here. Goodbye, sections of the trunk section. You are intended to burn off on re-entry, of course. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. This feels like we're coming in really, really steeply, and to be honest, we kind of are. But it's also fine. Drogue's out. And main's out. Looks like we're going to be landing in this city. What could possibly go wrong with landing in a city? It's fine. It's absolutely fine. We're, of course, going to go into surface mode here. There we go. We really don't need our smart ASS on anymore. The chutes will hold us in position. Chutes are deploying. There's the drogues deploying. And the mains will deploy very shortly here. There they go. Beautiful. I'm surprised the mains didn't deploy until like 800 meters there. But it's absolutely okay. We're traveling at a very, very safe velocity for landing, and we'll just hop right on down. I'm thinking about right now how we want to handle the payment structure, because I know for a fact that once we get our payment, I'll make a save, and then it won't save the payment. So I guess I'll just try to remember to also add it in next episode. We'll just recover this, and next episode we're going to be launching our next flight, which I believe is actually a Proton launch, but we might skip that because we've already launched the Nauka module kind of accidentally with some awkwardness. Or we might just do a Proton launch, dock it up, and then bring it home and be like, we've already got the Nauka and we're just going to do that. That might be what we do. Probably not the worst idea there. So that'll be okay. Absolutely fine. Let's get our payment here. It is time to put a cut in, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to launch that Proton rocket. It will probably be an empty Proton, because like I said, we've already launched the Nauka module, and I'll go over that next episode. Let's get that payment real quick here, but that will likely go away. I'll see if I remember to put it back next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.